nice rips in it. It's absurd.
Welcome back now for our ETF Spotlight. Getting a check on energy and oil with the XLE, XOP, and OIH ETFs all trading higher this morning. You see there by about 0.5%, give or take. This is OPEC leaders are preparing to meet in Vienna. Brian Sullivan is with us now on set with more on that. And also to answer a big question about oil prices, Brian.
Well, I mean, those things have been dogs. They're up today, but they're down 15% year to date. All right, we're going to get to more on OPEC in just a minute. But that big question, Mike, that you referred to is this. Given OPEC's production cut last year, given Venezuela's rolling economic disaster and slashed output, and especially given the increased Iran tensions, blowing up of oil tankers, down drones, many people rightfully wonder, why aren't oil prices even higher? Here's why. It's not one thing that has kept oil prices relatively stable, but a few. First and foremost, record American oil production. The U.S. could be headed to 13 or even 14 million barrels per day. And this oil largely considered risk-free, meaning it's not subject to the whims of geopolitics. Next, it's not just us. Russian production remains elevated as well. While Russian output is down fractionally from a few months ago, they're still above 11 million barrels a day. That's likely frustrating OPEC, who was hoping last year's 1.2 million barrel per day cut would firm up prices. Speaking of OPEC, another problem is that not everybody believes that deal to cut production is going to hold up. Some traders are worried that should the OPEC deal break, another million-plus barrels a day will hit an already oversupplied market. Finally, oil has been held down by growing fears of an economic slowdown around the world. If the world's major economies begin to taper off, demand for oil will fall, leaving more excess barrels on the market. 4 reasons why the oil bulls have been put out to pasture, at least for now. I mean, there was a day, I would imagine, guys, where if you had, tankers being mined and drones being downed and this rhetoric, oil would have jumped 10 or 12% in a day. The reality is this. There's so much oil out there in the United States. 2 new pipelines coming online, Wilfred, in the next year. That's going to enable us maybe to go to 13 or 14 million barrels a day. The world, as they say, ain't what it used to be.
What about the WTI and Brent spread with all the geopolitics? Are we seeing significant moves in that?
No, we're not. I mean, we have not seen the spread. I know there's been a spread between types of oil. Light sweet, right? The delicious kind. That's what we produce. Venezuela's that sort of heavy stuff. So the heavier stuff, we've seen a movement there in that spread. Brent, WTI, not as much, but the type of oil, yes. All right. Was that some smart stuff, Sarah?
I noticed that you put in the prompter, Brian says smart stuff.
That's not true. That is fake news. It said Sullivan says some smart stuff.
Oh,
exactly, because it was all perfect alliteration as well as being accurate, real news. It was beautifully crafted. Brian, thank you very much.
Another hour to do so.